Today we're making a hearty winter vegetable ratatouille packed with seasonal root veggies and Provençal flavours. Starting with the root vegetables, we dice and we roast. First up, carrots for some natural sweetness and vibrant colour. About 1 centimetre cubes. Parsnips for some sweet earthy depth and slight nuttiness. A bit of sweet potato or butternut squash, again for the natural sweetness, but more importantly for the wonderful creamy texture. It is one of my favourite ingredients in any soup. And a small turnip for some mild bitterness to balance the sweetness of the dish. Again, the recipe is just a guideline. Use whatever vegetables that you have access to. Taste while you cook and adjust. As long as you can achieve a balanced dish, it doesn't matter what you use. Perfect. Now, season generously with salt, black pepper, again, to balance the sweetness. And we puree the chewy with a generous amount of olive oil. Onto our baking trays lined with parchment paper. So why do we roast them? Well, all those natural sweetness we talked about earlier, we want to turn that into caramelized sweetness. While it doesn't materially change the amount of sugar, it changes and improves your body's ability to perceive them. And of course, it also adds a lot of depth, the difference between caramel and regular sugar. And this process occurs mostly above 160 degrees Celsius. So into hot oven they go, 200 degrees Celsius for about 20 minutes. Now we start building flavors with our aromatics, starting with the leek, which brings a mild sweet onion flavors and aromatic depth. Shallot, which brings sweetness and some delicate onion-like flavors, the elegant onion, if I may. Perfect. Medium heat, olive oil goes in, and we add our aromatics. We're cooking them mostly without color to evaporate their water content, to concentrate their flavors, in particular the natural sweetness which will complement our caramelized sweetness. Once again, we season generously with salt, black pepper, once again to balance and cut through the sweetness. You see the steam coming out, that's the water content evaporating. Once there's not much steam coming out and you start to hear a gentle sizzle, we crush a generous amount of garlic. So why the garlic now? Well, because of the natural sugar, they tend to burn more easily than the shallot and the leek. But more importantly, today we're looking for the pungent, savory aromas that will evaporate over time. So we're adding it and cooking it for just a minute longer to keep all those notes that we're looking for. If you want more caramel, then of course, give it more time. So it all depends on what you're solving for. Now we've built the flavors, we start building the sauce, starting with the umami bomb, the tomato puree. And it's important to cook out the tomato puree slightly to remove the harsh edge and concentrate their flavors. Now, the hero of the dish, tinned chopped tomatoes. This is what's going to bring acidity, brightness and body to the dish, and what might help me get away with calling this dish ratatouille. Bit of thyme, mainly for the earthy notes. Bit of rosemary, mainly for the piney fragrance. Throw in a bay leaf for some floral, herbal aromas. And we put the lid on and let this simmer while our beautiful caramel finishes cooking. Now we're ready. Beautifully caramelized. Some of them is even slightly charred. Carefully, they go straight in. So now everything here is cooked. All you need to do as a bare minimum is to give it 5 minutes for all the flavors to mix together. Then it's a matter of solving for texture. Taste every 5-10 minutes. Once you get to the desired texture, that's dinner. I personally like to cook it until the sweet potato and the butternut squash turns creamy. So normally about 20-30 minutes with the lid on. And what you need to do is to remove the herbs, add a bit of parsley for freshness, and that's my winter interpretation of this famous rustic dish. Time to open the mago.